Well, that is too bad.
Too
By
bad.
the way, we are live. We are live, entirely live. We are, hello, welcome everybody. You have joined us today for another live with LaLa. Let me tell you, boy, this thing cannot hold us back. YouTube is not going to hold us back. Did I get muted all of a sudden? Can you guys hear me? Make sure we're good.
You're not muted, but you are coming in a little quieter to me. I'm not sure if that was going all around, but I see LaLa nodding over there. So maybe you came in a little quieter. But regardless, we're in. As you can see here, everyone, we've been fighting with technology all morning. We've been trying since like 10 a.m. We definitely wanted to be on for 12, but here we are. It's 1:30 and we're ready to rock with you. So it's dab time. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming along. And we're going to talk labs with LaLa. So if you don't know Christina Trout, LaLa Gardens, check her out and get ready for an earful because we're going to hear all about labs. How are you, Tara?
Can you hear me?
You're still quiet. We can hear you, but you're quiet.
Test, 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 test. Any better? No.
Yep, there we go.
How about that?
Perfect.
Any better?
Yeah, and I'll let you know when the mic sorts itself out because I can hear you come in loud.
Yeah, I'm going to come in super loud. I know it's going to happen. Test, 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 test. Okay. It's doing it, huh? Okay, we're back.
Getting a little louder already, but I think it's pretty solid.
Okay, YouTube. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Let's start that over again. Let me pop out chat. Hello, everybody. Pop out chat. Welcome, welcome. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd really love for you to do so because let me tell you, we have an amazing show for you today, and we have some new shows coming up come the new year. Oh my God, I'm so excited for some of the stuff we've got planned. Drake is my co-host. He will be joining with me with hopefully most of those shows. We're not going to let him go that easy. And today, good. And then today we have LaLa. We're going to try and do live with LaLa's on Wednesdays. We're trying to get the time and everything sorted out. And I love hanging out with LaLa because she's super educated in this K&F stuff, which is something that's so new to me. Like I have a Jadam book, but I don't have a K&F book. What do? I don't know. Go to a Chris Trump event. Well, I can't really get to a Chris Trump event. So it's so cool to be able to have you available to talk to and be able to, bounce some ideas off and answer those questions for us. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and talking about labs. Last time we talked about labs, how we made them. What did we talk about last time? Should we sum it up what we did last time, LaLa? Go ahead. Oh, I get perfect timing. Woo! Woo!
We really went deep on lab last time.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of, I think where we ended up was a lot to do with the application of lab. And it's so uniquely something that's easy to start with. It's almost like the entry level into Korean natural farming. It gives you the foundation to understand what it is like.
And most important, it's the cheapest way to do stuff.
Cheap.
It's so cheap and it's
milk
beautiful.
and water. Milk, rice, and water.
Before we jump into how we make it, because I think we should touch on that quickly again, because I know you've got an awesome little lineup visually for us. But what is labs and what exactly does it do for our plants, first of all? And then let's dip into that a little bit more.
Okay, well, lab stands for lacto acid bacillus. And lacto acid bacillus is made up of a variety of different kinds of lacto acid bacilluses, and each has their own unique function. But primarily, they're there to support us as humans and as mammals. That's why it's called lacto, because it's a bacteria that finds its home in anything to do with lactose or milk. So we are a milky being, and so it's a organism that's there to support our health and our life, including helping the plants that we eat and ingest and imbibe in to function in a balanced way with our own microbiome. So it's like it's kind of considered in Korean natural farming or natural farming, as it, Korean natural farming is an Americanism, but anyway, to natural farming, it has so many applications, all the way from protecting the plant from pathogens like powdery mildew to conditioning the soil, helping you break down clay soils, helping all kinds of things be available.
Wow.
to
So
the
like
plant.
with the for protecting for PM, it does that, to my understanding, by taking over and populating the leaf surface with like this beneficial bacteria that essentially fights off all the bad guys or the negative bacteria and doesn't let it thrive. And then, as you mentioned, in the soil, it's actually a chelator, is it not? So it'll take and unlock these nutrients and things in the soil that were not available to our plants, and then it makes them available for them. And then in the same term, also is going to help fight off pathogens and unwanted, and just put a good presence in there, kind of like a little good defense team in there, right?
Absolutely. And, as far as sort of the chelating aspect to it, it is considered a facultative anaerobic bacteria. And, that's going to be the rabbit hole that we continue to go on, especially with me on this show, because, as my little man who joins us here today, he's a facultative. He's a little collection of facultative, which includes lactoacid bacillus. And so as a facultative, this anaerobe is capable of harvesting the minerals
Get a
in our
picture of
soils.
that little guy. Get a picture of that little guy. Put him back up there.
This little guy.
Introduce us to that little guy.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Aw, a little beneficial buddy. That's awesome. Now,
happy.
when you say it's a facultative anaerobic,
Facultative anaerobic bacteria.
Yeah, what exactly is that? What does that mean? What's a facultative anaerobic?
Okay, so I'm going to be talking just as a kind of a preface, I guess. I only speak from my own observations, and I really do try to practice as a citizen scientist, but I'm also a bit of an artist, and I do take sometimes a chef's approach. So with that understanding, I know that there are refined words that we could use to describe exactly what makes up the facultative anaerobic bacteria, but quite simply, these are a type of bacteria that live in our soils and all around us that can exist either with oxygen or without oxygen. So you find them in our soils that are well oxygenated, and you can also find them transitioning in our soils at that horizon where things are beginning to be anaerobic or less oxygen. Well, these anaerobes,
right in the middle there,
they thrive in those areas.
So then again, it's my understanding there's three general classes of these as well, right? There's going to be the anaerobic, which thrives with no oxygen, the aerobic, which thrive with oxygen, and then, as you're saying, these facultative anaerobic ones that can kind of make best of both worlds.
Oh, yeah. And as these go-betweens, just like you see in permaculture, where they say life is in the margins, right? Those kinds of plants or animals or species that can exist in that gray area are usually have just the most profound functions. They're almost like the diplomats of our world. They're there to bridge the gap between two things. And just as we're facing these challenges to overcome our duality, right? Just with each other and create diversity, the facultatives are really remarkable in that specific area.
Wow, that's incredible. It's so neat to hear about these kind of just these different organisms and what they can do and what they can provide. So then in turn with getting back on track with labs, just because I'm great at railroading conversation. So with the labs, so it's a facultative anaerobic itself, the bacillus there. Well,
and that's what gives it its unique qualities in part.
Beautiful. So then now, so we've touched on the fact that it can help populate the surface of the leaves. It can help unlock things in the soil and fight off the bad guys there. And then it just makes these nutrients more available. So it's an awesome additive. And to my recollection, it's like a 1 to 500 or 1 to 1,000 application rate. So it's very, very, goes a long ways.
I'd say 1 to 300, especially if you're going to be using it as a soil drench and you want to, there's been some suggestion that you can add a little bit of seawater to that too. And that becomes, but do hold off when you're in bloom, because while it's doing these functions all the way through vegetative and slightly into bloom, it can compromise the sweetness of a fruit if you use it too late into bloom. And so I think if you translate that to cannabis, it probably is going to take away perhaps some of its expressions if you continue to use it all the way through bloom.
I've heard that. And then I believe I've heard it can actually potentially maybe elongate the flowering period just a little bit as well.
It's so profound that you're saying that right now. And we will definitely get onto that, because when you look at how the flower responds to these, there's a kind of a trade-off. And here's what's interesting when you're thinking, the labs, let's cut it out. But that lengthening of the flower period has some very unique potentials to bring out the height of our medicines and to bring into it also a complexity of terpenes that we don't see without the facultatives.
Well, yeah, of course, providing that different host for its roots to live in, that different area there for it to literally just react differently. And in a sense, maybe in my layman terms, cure a little longer. You know, it's not curing while it's growing, but just to put it in basic terms, right? It extends that growing period, which in a sense extends the cure of all these cannabinoids being produced by the plant. So that's very interesting, and I love it.
Would you want me to give you, before we go back, you want me to give you a cute little, like a sweet little like insight into this and how it's easy and how it sort of gives us an in to how to understand these organisms as we start playing with them in our own gardens. So this is what helps me a lot. So when you're thinking about labs or facultatives, like where do they originate? And they're usually in like the prairies. So when you're thinking like a facultative, or you're thinking like a bacteria would, like the reason, so they're going to be, so in the prairie, the soils are compromised. There's like a pebble, they're not very thick and there's a lot of pebbles. And so it would make sense that those facultatives are mining the minerals because they're being, that's what their environment is, but they're also facing drought. And in a drought situation, a plant would want to hold on to its flower or to have the capacity to have a long flowering length so that it can ripen seeds. And so those bacteria are in there functioning to help that plant do what it needs to do to have that expansive bloom time to simply do the best it can do genetically to get those seeds into the ground. So when you look at it from that perspective, you can also think like cannabis, like, all right, what's the benefit to having a longer grow or a longer bloom time? And we're not talking about long, maybe like a week, 2 weeks. It's not horrible.
And we are talking specifically about the same cultivar too. So it's not like we're just talking different cultivar that has a longer flower.
Yeah. It's the anaerobic bacteria, it's the facultatives.
Yeah, and then not just taking it longer than it needs to be, actually having it so that its own metabolism, or I'm probably going to misspeak here, but so it actually finishes a little slower, just for anyone out there that wasn't privy to the prior conversation. But then I also dwell on labs. I definitely want to stick to it and then we've touched on the plants. How can you use labs for yourself, and how does that work? Like, does it help with your tummy, with indigestion, or how do you use it for skincare, or can you use it for all of the above, or what do you use it for?
Profound. I mean, seriously, it can replace it can replace so many things. I have used it exclusively for shampoo. I have really fine hair and I was doing no shampoo for like 5 years. And Lab is one of the best hair products that I have found. If you want to get rid of the chemicals and shampoos completely, like it leaves your hair soft and like alive, like just like,
okay, wait. Okay. So you realize,
yeah,
I've been a professional hairdresser my whole life.
Oh, I'm making quite a statement.
I have actually retired from owning beauty salons and beauty supplies, and I've been a hairdresser my whole life.
Yep.
So you are on for the challenge, my dear, but I will tell you, the smell has got me. Okay, so
I know.
Help me out there.
Oh God, that's so funny you bringing that up. Okay, so this morning I've been having these experiences where I wake up in the morning with a weird little preview of what the day is going to bring, and it's usually something that it's like that doesn't make sense. So this morning just happened to be the conversation in my head I was having with you about, or who, it wasn't you specifically, but it was about with somebody about the scent of the lab. You have uncovered the theme of the show. That's hilarious. Okay, well, let's talk about it.
The scent is not pretty. In fact, even having it, like when I open it and give some to my dog, I even like kind of like
gag.
It's it's just not me. Like I think okay, so the other problem, I know it's us, and I know it's like because of the environment that we live in today. Right. We haven't been exposed to actually real natural scents and smells. We've been really tricked to believing that a lavender actually smells like this bottle of some stupid lavender they sell us over here in the store. When you smell a lavender plant, it actually doesn't smell like that. And so we've been misbelieved and misguided because all these other products are cheaper to make. all of the natural botanical
And they're
living
chemical.
products
Chemical.
are easier to make. Those chemical products are harder or are cheaper for them to make, and they can make it by the masses.
Yep.
So we've been misguided and misled. And so, I really kind of want to hopefully bring that out on this channel and hopefully really open people's eyes to what a lot of things we've been misguided. Like I used to do essential oils and fragrance oils, and people would literally pick fragrance oils because they're used to perfumes and they're used to, all those pharmaceutical things. So, if we really want to become healthy right now, it's super important that we start looking within us. It's our responsibility to become healthy. It's our responsibility to take our health into our own hands. No one else is going to care about it. We need to care about it. So I hope you all care about this today. And speaking of care about, I care about taking dabs with y'all. So I'm going to dab one with y'all. I hope you're all having a merry holiday out there, whatever you celebrate, however everything's going. I decided, put the little hat on. Does it mean that something if I have this ball on this side or this side, is it like,
I like that side. I like the other side. That side. That's the side.
This
that
side?
one.
Okay.
That side.
Okay, we'll leave the ball on this side. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I totally derailed the conversation off of the thing.
You're like channeling. You're channeling right now, girlfriend. That's what I gotta say.
Well, I'm gonna take a dab and let you continue to talk about labs, because I got my labs here. I got lots of labs to use, and I want to know more about this. So LaLa, thank you for being here with us today and sharing with us today.
Yeah.
And if anybody has questions for LaLa, please let us know.
Please
so
ask.
Go ahead, continue.
Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm actually have my phone up. I can read the chat. So anybody out there want to ask anything, I will also be watching the chat. And definitely let's go deep on this because I got some good news for you. Well, I have one addition to what Tara had to say, and then I've got some good news for you. So water with milk. No, it's going to be rice water with milk, dearest Miss Salty Clemens. So stick around because we're going to show you how to do it. Actually, yeah, volcanic soil. We're going to be talking about that one of these days soon, but not today, y'all. All right. Okay. I'm going to catch up real quick. The head. Okay. It's amazing how sensitive the head is. Non-nutrient immune response chemicals and that's zoning. Men are bald. Anyone agree? Yes, I do. Salty Clemens, you're my favorite one on there today. I want to say something. All right. We're good. I'm so excited though. Calm. I need to be calm. This is like my favorite subject. I'm so glad that we get this to talk about.
We don't need to be calm. We're excited about what we do. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. So the good news, all right. The addition to what Tara said earlier is that fragrance as an ingredient has the capacity to hide some 800 plus chemicals. So literally a company can be throwing chemicals at your brain to get you addicted, to get you desensitized, to get your immune system dysfunctioning, to do all kinds of damage. And all of those chemicals can be classified as fragrance. So anytime you look, always rule number 1, read your labels. Do it. Do the job of reading the label and then making the choice to love yourself by only choosing of the ones that you can pronounce with one syllable or know what it is. Okay, that's all that I have to say about that. The good news about lab, however, is that you can bring to your inoculations a very sophisticated level of organisms that will come into harmony and give you some of the fragrances that you like. And that's one thing I can really super testify to, because even coming from making my IMO5, which I'm demonstrating on IG at LaLa Grows, I did self-promotion. Hey, so that IMO5 smells like oranges. Like it shocked me that the scent, and I was like, oh my God, this is where terpenes are born. And so with lab, even though it's coming from lacto, right? And so what's the thing that lacto turns into? It turns into cheese. So because we're smelling it, but we're smelling old cheese, and it just reminds us of, it's almost like we have to sort of cultivate the sophistication of our cheesiness. Haha, is what we have to do.
And that cheese, that curd, that the lacto, what it turns into is amazing for your animals, for ourselves. We can make all sorts of cheeses out of it. Shout out to Wendy Sunabis. I know there's a few other people that did it, but she also made the oh frick, now I can't even come to it. Was it mozzarella? She did the rendition.
Oh,
of?
dude.
No,
Okay,
no,
they
no.
just unlocked
It
the
was a
secret of the
friend.
mozzarella.
It was a
Cellar
friend.
Door Collective and Wendy.
Wasn't it?
Okay, who was the
Yeah.
friend? Did you just mention the name?
Cellar Door Collective. He was also one of our classmates at the same Chris Trump class. So we're all classmates. And
Yeah,
he's
Wendy was going
awesome.
to come on today, by the way, and support you. Wendy's, you're definitely got Wendy's support. Wendy, if you're out there, we love you. She's got terrible internet and couldn't join us today. So hopefully someday we'll get that girl here.
I can't wait to hang out with you
Yeah.
again, Wendy. I love you, dear sister. Hello, Fresh. Okay.
So the
Rice.
labs. So with the labs, like what kind of rice? So we talked about that last time. We touched on that. You can try any kind of rice, right? You should try any kind of rice, and you should try any kind of milk.
Yeah.
I think you should at least try it.
Well,
But
here's
what we recommend
here's a
for
closed
certain
functioning.
things, what LaLa recommends, and here you go.
Okay, cool. On closed loop systems functioning, when you're making your rice that you're going to be using for your IMO 1 collection, there is a reason why we like to use the rice, especially to begin with, to use CalRose rice. It seems to have a carbohydrate ratio or something about it microbes really love. And so it's very easy and natural to get a collection on it. I think what it more has to do with is the fact that when you break it up in your box, you can achieve the correct oxygenation. That's actually what I'm arriving at now, is that understanding. So it's about the texture, which I'll go over. But anyway, so it's good to use CalRose. And if you're going to be rinsing your rice to do your IMO 1 collection, you might as well be using the same rice. So you're not wasting your rice, right? Should I just do it? Should I demo it?
I was just gonna say we might.
Sure, you can do it. Do
Everyone
it. You can
how
make
to-
it right here. Sure. Brown, white rice. Yeah, I think you should try it. Honestly, I don't think people should limit themselves. I think
Well,
so many times we've limited ourselves and because, I don't have that rice, I can't make it. Or if I don't have this, I can't make it. We as regenerative people and as people that we need to live within our means or what we have available to us. And so if you've got minute rice in your cupboard right now, why not try it? What do you have to lose? A cup of rice? Seriously, is that all you have to lose? Come on.
Yeah.
Why not? So and you might come up with
yeah.
something, you might find something that might be really cool and it might be amazing. It might be some weird organism in your area might end up. I don't know.
Oh man, I just got a great question. Hopefully by
it.
answering this question, I can tie a lot together.
Okay.
So we've got a question. What is the minimum amount of rice for the collection? Not everyone can afford to spend gallons of rice. And I so understand that one. And so this how I'm going to answer this is going to answer both for the people who are interested in IMO collection and why the oxygen's important there. And also for just you beginning lab makers that just want to make some stuff that's going to not only populate your intestines with everything that you need. It's going to help you overcome some of the digestion issues that we're facing in our polluted environments. It's going to help you combat the flu. It's going to help you with everything that's going on in our world right now. So I'd say, yes, if you have minute rice in your cupboard, this is how we're going to do it today. That's it. Just don't even think about IMO 1. We're not there yet, but we will be. So let me answer the question first, and then we'll go on to the demo. Sound good? Okay. The question is, so the rice. Okay. My favorite substrate for IMO 1 right now is millet. I am in love with millet. So.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that? Why do you like millet?
Okay, because
my birds love millet too. My birds love millet.
do
small.
fungus.
It's small in diameter. It's round. It has a hard shell, so it's not compromised. Like rice, I learned anyway. It's a whole story, but like a bag of cow rows can go bad so quick. What if you don't have storage? You have to store it in the cold. You can't. Bugs get it. Compromises the rice. Any collection you're going to get from then on is going to be like compromised. So you have to understand before you. Yeah. So yeah, let's just forget everything else I said. Go to millet. It's small. It's got the hard shell. It's intact, so it's not as contaminated. It's not likely to be GMO. And when you populate when you populate the collection with mycelium, it's evenly distributed. The oxygenation is perfect. I left a collection out for because I couldn't get back to the mountains. My car. I was without a car for a year last year, you guys. Try to do IMO collections when you have no vehicle. I'm a spoiled white girl.
Well, I guess it depends on where you live, right? Like, so
God.
I could walk out back and I could actually do an IMO collection.
I know you can.
Right. So like there's some people live in those areas that we can, and those that this don't, it's nice that we're going to have these to be able to do something with too. I was thinking, oh, sorry, this is totally derailing the conversation. It should hang off of my hat. I was just,
is that
that's one of the balls that you sent me. So anyways, yeah,
You're
derailed
amazing.
Conversation. Go ahead.
Let's make them kiss. Kiss
Okay.
it. Okay.
Now everybody's like, what did we just walk into, or what are these girls doing? They are all gotten way too high for me, but I do need another dab. I hope you guys are all having an awesome, happy, high day out there.
Wrangle it in, dab time.
So go ahead. Yes, it's dab time. And yes, I love the questions. Thanks for being here, everybody, and all my mods in chat. Thank you for being here. Hey, Bingo, try to post a link. I don't know if you can still post a link anymore.
I can chat. I'm super excited. I was allowed.
Can you chat? Drake, you can chat now?
I was saying hi.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Not get too carried away.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, make sure you have live chat up, too. I don't know if I told everybody that today. I can't remember. I forgot, y'all. Oh, Merry Christmas. And I forgot. Oh, shoot. Wait, I got my bills.
Lemons.
I got my bills. Wait, I gotta put my bills on. Here, wait. Look at my slippers.
Oh, my God. Oh, those are really cute.
They're like totally loud.
Oh, my God. Can I have those in high heels? Can I have super fuzzy freaking shoes just like that with bells, but like on super
I love it.
No,
okay, so now let's get back into the conversation. We had some little bit of fun here. So, okay, there you go, y'all.
It's girl time.
Looks like Bingo had fun changing the wheel. I'm glad you got your
Lemon
window
Hoga's
fixed.
on, y'all.
Hey, Lemon. Welcome, Lemon. And Oshi Girls is out there. I see you, my sister. She's tuning in the chat. How come she is not modded up? I have no idea why she's not modded up.
You can
I
post
gotta get her sharing some links too.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. Oh, we can post links. Bingo.
I know, look
it's
at that.
back. Okay,
You guys,
cool.
I have a tutorial. Should we
Thank
post
you.
the tutorial for lab? Post the tutorial for lab.
We'll just post your website. We just need
there.
that because and then they can go on there. On your,
okay, I'll put it on there real quick. Also on YouTube.
This has been great. Thanks for telling us so much about labs.
We'll post your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm posting the Instagram, so everyone click that link and check out LaLa on Instagram.
Nice. I wanted to mention that tutorial in the context of this talk only because it goes into quite a bit of detail of exactly how to make it. So, and this is talking about the lab, not even be straight to the IMO, but let's get back to lab because it's so, but yeah, the whole tutorial's there, but let's talk about the finer details.
Okay, so what are some of the finer details? Okay, we did touch on hair, right? We went the whole hair thing because I was like, oh, no way. So we went off on the smell. So maybe we should jump back to that because, so yeah, as I'm sitting here, it is a little funk. It is a little, is there something, how do I use it on my hair, first of all?
It's cloudy.
How did you use it on your hair? How often did you use on your hair? Okay, so this is everything that LaLa's tried, nothing that I've tried. So I'm going to try some experiments, y'all. And so LaLa's going to give me some instructions here today. And then if you could fix the smell for me, how could we do that? And maybe it's not going to smell because I'm going to dilute it enough. So go ahead, take it away, LaLa.
Okay. You're going to refine your collection. So the cloudiness in your collection is going to suggest, just like with kombucha, a yeast. And so you don't just have only the bacteria in there, but you also have a yeast. And so because they go together and they work together, because even in this facultative, so this is the facultative, but it's also yeast and it's lab. They kind of go together. So what you want to do, just like with kombucha, the secret to kombucha, like for me, because I can turn kombucha from kombucha to alcohol. Like, and oh man, some of my stuff is amazing, which anyway. So so when you're doing your collections for your lab, you want to refine your collection, which means paying attention to detail and doing it over and over and over and over again, because it's a craft. Like, yeah, it's really easy to do. And then the more you do it, the more you learn. And then the more you learn, the more you're like, oh, I can get it to have this sweet smell. I can get it to stay clear in my refrigerator for longer periods of time. I can get it more stable. And then you can, so
give me more. How do we get that? How do we do those three things? How do we get it more clear, stable? What are some little tips and tricks that you find for the refinement process?
I think it matters what kind of water you use. I mean, from the very beginning, beautiful. I think the water you use is important. I think the milk you use is obviously important, but but don't let that stop you, because no matter what you do, no matter what materials you use, if you're creating a milk whey, that's all you're doing. You're creating a serum in which you can capture them. So it's very simple to do, and it's very beneficial from the get-go, but we're talking about refinement now for things like using in your hair and things that are going to smell good. So when you want it for that level of use, it also matters how long, and this is a really important step. This is one that everyone has to master. It matters how long your rice water goes.
Yes.
So that initial collection is everything, because, and that's when it does matter, sort of the grains, I think. And it would be interesting, I think, to do a collection of like a millet water and see what kind of bacillus you capture.
Definitely. I think you got a little project. I'd be interested to see that on your Insta. On your page, do a little side by side and see the differences, but the same environment. So the only difference would be what they are hosting inside of them.
Yep.
So I was also curious, like, what about wheat? What about, what about other grass seeds that grow around us? What about rye? Like, maybe there's a lot of other things out there that are there to try. Let's talk about these things, and let's bring them up to people that might not live in our area. Maybe people don't have rice where they live and they only have wheat.
Maybe I would stay away from potatoes, though, because I've done a collection on potatoes and it had amazing qualities. And I was like, oh, and I think I even posted it. I was like, yeah, potatoes. But potatoes attract yeasts predominantly. So I was getting yeast collections. So if you, anything you use is going to collect something. And something with unique properties, but it's up to the farmer to figure out what those are and to educate himself on what he's actually doing.
Millet labs would have a weird taste, Hermatia said. So, okay.
They are always a bit to get used to, I think. So when you're using them with your hair, this is the other thing, you can go longer between hair washes, because it's doing the facultative thing of actually coating your hair and interacting with your scalp. So it's actually like working with the sebum in your scalp and actually coming into balance with the microbial of your hair. So you can go longer and longer periods between washing.
Before my Wi-Fi kicked me off, I had a couple things I wanted to touch on. One, and kind of like a really big thing, is only let your restrictions be what you have access to, right? Like if you I'm going to just go on here to get LaLa's, what she prefers in an ideal world. So that'll be our kind of like our baseline. If you can get that, go for it. But then it's like, if you only got tap water and minute rice and fucking, some inorganic molasses, and you need to make it shelf stable or whatever, we can get into all of that. Just use what you have access to. Like as Tara's saying, at least try it, because it may still work. It may not be the most amazing or the fastest way to get there, but you still may get to the same end result in a sense or in a context, and at least bring you, you know, to here from here. You know, you're just making small steps. So just do what you can do. So sorry for my little layman's way of farting around and getting that out. But then I also want to touch on the water and the milk. In an ideal world where, you know, the world's at your fingertips, what does LaLa prefer? Are you using like some sort of spring water and like some special milk or what?
Well, okay, so I have access, well, when I had a car, and now my car is fixed, so I have access to some spring areas in Colorado, and one of them is just I've been wanting to play with just high mineral spring water. Because the minerals do bring in those microbes, because especially being a facultative, they're going to want to congregate in the areas where there's a lot of minerals. And so I think mineral water is a very interesting place to experiment. And I actually haven't gone there myself yet. I've been using mostly spring water from a certain spring up in the mountains. But I'm wanting to explore more of the more mineral springs.
Okay. So then, so a little bit more feasible, I suppose, for other people than a sneaky spring that's near your location.
If you have chlorinated water, put it in a jar, let it sit 24 hours. You go ahead and experiment if you can add no, we won't go down there. Yeah, just dechlorinate your water. If do whatever filter and cleaning you can do. Try to spend some time with your water, like getting it to a receptive place, and you're fine.
Perfect. I mean, that's kind of what I was assuming, right? And like, let's God forbid you live somewhere where your water is almost, you know, to the point where it's undrinkable, maybe drinkable, but you know, there's bad stuff in there. Is there any company, is there any sort of water source that you would recommend? Like, you know, I think it's tough to say go to your local lake or something like that, maybe because it's so different with everyone's different environment and things that are going into it. You never know. But like, I'd never want to necessarily reference like a company to buy. But is maybe a spring water company, something that you would say this is a great starting point? Or
I'd say, you know, this is where the poetry of natural farming really comes in, because the ultimate truthful answer is that any amplification that you can do from where you are right now is going to absolutely bring you tenfold back more than what you can do by buying something outside of yourself. So
exactly.
So like if you have a puddle outside and, you know, you put it into a can and that has punched holes in the bottom and you've filled it with some biochar that you've made, or like whatever creative, you know, you can be a creative person who needs water remediation. Like you could probably boil it and drip it off, and then you have some distilled water to work with.
So there's always some sort of option. I feel like definitely, I mean, it is just water all in all. And I'm going to guess 99.9% of people that are watching this have access to just fine water. Right. So end of all, it's most likely just go from your sink, let it bubble for maybe 24 hours in an ideal world, or sit out so it's dechlorinated and you're good to go. For the milk,
exactly. You don't have to. You never have to buy outside of where you are. And that's the thing. Like if you could really get behind that as a principle of how you go forward with your life, it's so profound, because to understand that your medicine is literally right where you are, that you can do everything you need to do where you are, is revolutionary.
You got that right, and it supports the community, and it's generally, depending on what you're doing, going to be a lot more cost effective, which is odd to think, but it's because you're, you know, oh yeah, we're getting the really nice organic milk and stuff like that, but when it goes 10,000-fold, it really doesn't make, you know, it doesn't mind you spend $7.
It's not only revolutionary, but it's so self-empowering. You know, the self-empowering movement is so important right now. It's so important you take self-empowering into your own hands, just like your health. Like I've been preaching, you know, drinking my kombucha, by the way. I got a new kind of kombucha here. Here, I'll go off. Here's some labs for my body in a different way. This one's called raspberry lemon. So,
Yummo.
Yeah, So cheers, everybody out there. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thanks for joining us again. I really appreciate y'all tuning in today. If you've got any questions, we're going to be taking questions throughout the channel, or throughout the show today.
Milk. Tell me about the milk.
Milk. Go ahead. Milk. Go for it.
What kind of milk? What percentage? What of everything?
Okay. Thank you, the American one. Reach out. You guys, yeah, just hello. I love being here. Okay, so what kind of milk? Okay, it doesn't matter. And really, actually, the best milk that you can get is sometimes is the 2%, because again, you're not really dealing with the protein in the milk, which is going to be what makes the cheese. You're dealing with what's left after the curds are removed, which is the whey. And so you literally are creating with the milk a serum by which the bacteria can kind of like populate and just be stable and kind of happy, like an ocean of lab. You're creating an ocean of lab in the serum that has nothing to do with the quality of the milk necessarily.
Okay, so you got a pretty wide range on milk. I'm going to imagine you want to go for organic 2%, or is it really just open range?
It is pretty much open range, because again, kind of related to the principle of the thing, when you are in an amplification mode and you're taking what you have, and basically with natural farming, that's what you're doing. You're amplifying. You're taking a collection of bacillus, you're putting it into an ideal condition, then you're giving it all the food it could ever want, and you're literally amplifying that into your populations. And you're doing that with every single IMO that you work with in natural farming. So just by virtue of that kind of amplification, even if you have a compromised whey, the level of population of bacillus is enough to amplify. So the focus has to be taken away from the vehicle and put on the destination. What's your purpose? What are you trying to do? You're trying to populate with lactobacillus. So what if you use a chemical? It's because it's all you've got, 2% whey. If the bacillus is living in those conditions, better bet it's going to be living in your contaminated situations. Well,
that's where it comes out to be just beneficial to do something over nothing, right? You just work with what you can do. You just have the highest standards that you can work towards, and that's where you go. And then, I mean, we've hit the water. We've now touched on the milk. How long? You left out, or we didn't leave out, but you mentioned, you touched on that the time is very crucial. So let's say we're sitting at room temperature at most houses, which will be 22, 23 degrees Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, Canada A. So average room, and then, I mean, the humidity, what, 40%, 50%, just the average scenario. And let's say you're putting it above your fridge, as I'm looking at my counter above the fridge over there. So just the basic parameters. Okay. How long would you say leaving it out for?
You know who knows? The nose knows. The nose knows. So don't put it on top of your refrigerator, because that means you'll never smell it. So make sure you put it somewhere that's in clear sight so you don't forget about it, especially if you're making it for the first time. So like literally, I'm just going to make it while I'm talking about it, because that'll save some time. So, it doesn't matter how much rice, it just matters the first rinse is always the best. And I'm going to pour it to 3/4 mark so that I don't have to do much else. This is me on the fly, just doing this. This is how I would do it if I had to do it on a live right now.
See, that's perfect.
Oh, and I didn't have a spoon, so dang, I'm just going to go ahead and use my finger. And I'm going to stir it, and I'm going to wish that I had a wider jar, but oh well. Here we are.
What about just put a real lid on it and turn it upside down?
Yeah, I guess I could do that, but I don't have a lid right here.
Okay, I just was like, could we? I'm just like saying, hey, what could we do? What are our things?
In fact, I'm going to rethink my whole positioning.
There you go. Okay, we're on the fly. Here we go. On the fly, y'all. Let's use a bigger jar.
Obviously, you're going to have to come back for that demonstration. That's hilarious. Pretend there's no rice in here. Wait, I've got the solution. I've got more water. There's always a solution, right?
Okay.
It's a comedy show, but here we are.
Oops. This is what happens on a live. We don't do bloopers. Outtakes here, baby. We don't edit that shit out.
I was not prepared.
Here, we'll take you off spotlight so that won't make you feel so like you're like right on the cue there. Here, we'll let you clean up there a little bit.
It's all on you. Nope.
All right. So,
okay.
Woo. Okay.
She's got it. We got it. Clean jar. We got it.
Jar. You have now passed water between, you've gotten to this point. Lovely, lovely bit of cloudiness. Oops, let's go up here. So you fill to 3/4. And why is that important? Well, the nose knows why that's important, but I'm about to tell you as well. Okay. So you've poured it to the 2/3, right? And it's about that cloud. You look at it, it's got that kind of opulescence, that kind of soft pearliness to it. I mean, like if I was a microbe, I'd be like, right on. This is exactly what I want. I'd be like, mm-hmm. That's what I would do.
And 2/3 is like the natural farming rule of thumb, is it not? That's a very pretty common amount. You use it for your IMO1s and all this stuff. We don't need to get into all that now, but just a little key for everyone out there. 2/3 is a solid starting point.
You could look at it like if you want to do some deep down research, just look at the 80-20 principle. It has everything to do with that. It's actually a very profound, like cosmic universal law of how we exist is the 2/3 ratio. So like even in alchemy, like I always practice according to 80-20 principle. If I don't know a recipe, well, of course I don't know a recipe because I'm making them up. I will use the 80-20 principle to arrive at everything. So the fact that that is a principle in Korean natural farming informs me that this is an ancient teaching that has its roots in alchemy. So it's a truth. It's kind of like a principle.
So then now go ahead.
That's where life thrives. So now I've got my paper towel and I'm going to date it. This is the Terra Live show date. I'm going to be like, it was the Terra Live show.
It is 12/23.
Okay. I have to do numbers. Great.
The day before Christmas Eve. It's the eve before Eve. It's the eve before Christmas Eve.
And you put that on there. You put this on there. And you know, like, I have it too deep, and you know, it matters what kind of lid you put on it, what you're mostly trying to do.
Yeah, because you don't want to use parchment paper. I used parchment paper 1 year. Whoops.
And I feel like 2 of these is too thick. Like you just want to keep the bugs out. You're just trying to keep the bugs out. You're not trying to keep anything in. You're trying to keep just
coffee
the flies
filters.
out.
I've heard coffee filters and paper towels and napkins.
Put a rubber band around it.
T-shirts. That's an old T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, no, a T-shirt.
No.
Because get something that is not pre-inoculated with like the body's.
Oh, a T-shirt would have had different things on it, and even dyes or anything could be. Yeah, okay, good.
And an old one is going to have your bacteria, and what you're trying to do is capture bacteria that is indigenous.
Yeah, clothes carry nasty bacteria. It's amazing what's in your clothes. Yeah, we won't go there.
So I'm actually, if it wasn't freezing every night, I would put this outside.
Oh, you would? Okay, cool. Yeah. Wow.
But I'm going to put
I ended up having to put it on my hot water heater because my house was always so cold. So I had to like kind of bump it up a little bit. Yeah. And also for a ginger bug, that was another thing we were doing to activate. So we had to put
Did you smell it every day? Did you smell the rice water every day?
I need to do it over. I you know, that's an old collection. It's time for me to do a new one. We'll be starting a new one. That was something I wanted to talk to you about today. Okay, so I have this old one. I want to do a new one. Okay. Yeah. This is a lot of labs.
It's not that much lab.
It's not? Okay. So what can I have chickens. I have I maybe I should keep some for my hair. I'll try some for my hair. Okay, so I'm gonna try a little bit for my hair.
Chickens is a good start.
Chickens. What can I do with my chickens and my dog? I've already been giving it to my dog. How much should I be giving it to my dog? And is there a time to be giving it to my dog? Yeah. So go ahead, answer those.
So for your pup, I'd say like an eyedropper in his water, just a tiny little couple drops. Every time you fill the water, just put a few drops of lacto in there. Keep it by.
Because I was literally probably giving her like a tablespoon a day.
It doesn't have to be that much because you're basically what you're going to be doing in
She's
the water.
She's a lab, lab. I thought it was,
I love it. Sorry.
Pun intended. Sorry. That was bad. Good.
But you're populating your dog's water dish.
Okay.
Also, so even just a couple of drops of lacto
every time, huh? Kind of like
you could, or even just sort of like for instance, my cat drinks water from outside that's just been sitting there all year because it's been
Who knows? My
treated with
dog.
these balls. So like everything on my property is edible from my cat, and I have my cat is healthy as the mice coming off my property, insane health in my mice. So anyway, so you're populating your pet's water dish. So almost like I'd say it's better to give your puppy or animal unchlorinated water that you've inoculated with the proper types of bacillus. And then that will bring health to the pup. I'd say stop cleaning the bowl and start using a lab every time. And then wipe your finger on the bottom. And if it's slimy, then wash it. But if it seems clean and like it's maintaining a balance, maybe like go from metal, get like something else, like a ceramic that would, I don't know. Yeah.
So then also, in my chicken water, then follow that up with my chicken water as well. Then I can put that goes not for dogs, but all animals out there is what you're saying. So, okay, good to know. Cats, everybody, you guys. Yeah. So then people obviously could do the same, obviously. Yeah. So just touching on that, you guys, if you didn't know, go check all that out too. So I also heard you could take it and spray it on like the manure in my chicken area, and it's supposed to help break that down and help clean that up. So do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, sure. So I have 15 Muscovy ducks and four goats, and they all live together and they all shit and poop in the same yard. And so I've done a deep mulch bed with wood chips a couple of times, but they still poop and it still creates like a barrier. And sometimes, you don't have time, like sometimes you just don't have time to go out there, and it's wintertime, and it's like, you got to deal with this anaerobic situation, and the best thing I've found is, so on top of that mulch, when it gets kind of, the water's not penetrating, it's getting kind of puddly out there. It might be shifting towards kind of an ammonia smell or something like that. Then you can take that full strength lab and just simply like sprinkle it in the pooled areas so that it's actually populating the pond areas that are the water that is stagnant. And I'll also put it in my duck's pond, and I'll just leave it in there. Like it's in there frozen. The pond is frozen over, but it's got lab in there. And when it thaws out and refreezes, there's no stench, there's no smell. It's actually living. And then what I do, I follow up. So I've got that in the areas, and then I follow up with my homemade biochar. And that's also been inoculated with these. So like my full on, that whole area of facultative that we're talking about in my property is pretty balanced. So I don't have issues with ammonia or weirdness, and a very fast breakdown of wood chips, like insanely fast.
We're going to have you on for a biochar session coming up soon here. I'd love to talk about that and how to make it and the benefits of it. Maybe it would be like, a half hour shorter episode, but that'll be great.
I'd love it.
Okay, so did you talk about how to spray it on in the chicken area?
I just take it out there and dribble it, dude. I just take like that.
You don't put it like in a sprayer. You don't like have to like none of that.
No.
On their perches, I was kind of thinking.
Oh yeah, you could do that, or you could just yeah, sure. But
I also use diatomaceous earth, so
yeah,
I do both.
Nice. I mean, yeah, you can spray it. It's only going to benefit. However you want to refine it is great. I personally don't have time. I know that they're going to be stepping in it anyway.
Is that also something I should be out doing on my garden, my vegetable garden, and on the mulch on top? Maybe I should, while I have it in the sprayer for my chickens, I should be out there spraying my vegetable garden as well, where I also grow, right?
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Yeah, there's no end to it. It's such a beautiful product.
I love it. I love it. Anybody got any questions out there for LaLa? Hermesia is dropping some awesome bombs. God, I'd love to have Hermesia on here sometime. He's super, super smart. You guys get over and check out Lemon Hoko's Discord if you want to get a hold of anybody in the chat. That's a really good spot to get a hold of anybody. And also on Instagram, go follow LaLa Gardens and LaLa Grows over on Instagram. Also Drake KO4 on Instagram, or DK Trades on Facebook as well. And you can also find me, Tara-Lee Live, on Instagram as well. What else? Where are we at? Where are we at, guys?
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on what Hermetia is saying there? Any of those?
We've got a great recipe in the chat.
Yeah.
The Golden Majestic meatball. He says 80% lean beef and 20% fat equals Golden Majestic meatball.
There we go. Yum.
Like it. How can we know if these bacteria food nutrients like so much more cheese? Wait, how can we know if these bacteria food nutrients like these food nutrients like so much more KC3?
Heck yeah, lobster. I'll take a dab for you. Lobster's on the road. It's dab time for lobster, y'all. It is time for dabs up for lobster. Cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a happy, high, and healthy day out there. And safe travels to you, man. And I forgot to clean my banger. Shame on me.
Oh, we have another recipe. Hermetia says lab 1 to 30. FPJ, which is fermented plant juice, 1 to 500. BRV, 1 to 500. OHN, which is Oriental Herbal Nutrient, at 1 to 1,000 solution. Put in the glass. Will keep it clean for 2 days, no matter how hard you hit it. Nice.
Oh, wow.
Right? Okay. That's a fun one. Are we talking bong? What are we talking?
Yeah, he's talking about.
Yeah, glass rig. Wow. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't have OHN. Yeah, I didn't make any of that. Yeah,
I have some. I should send you some of mine.
I'd gladly take some. I'm
okay.
Not going to make any time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make any time soon.
Did you? Okay, I'll send you some. Did you try that other present I gave you? Did you try what was in
Not yet. I've been a chicken.
Yeah, good.
I've been a chicken. We'll have to talk about that we didn't talk about that on live. Did we talk about? We did talk about that on live.
I don't think we did. Oh no, I guess we didn't know. I am now though.
Well, we did. But anyways, we got so much stuff to talk about, so we wanted to kind of keep it on labs today because we don't want to have you guys come for one thing and then you're getting talked about a whole nother thing. We really respect your time, and we really try and keep the titles close to what we're going to be talking about. I hope you guys really respect that and understand that. I don't want to go for the quick grab. I'm not going to go down this YouTube path of I'm here to waste your time. I really respect you all out there in the community. And I really continue to want to support each and every one of you. And I think we just need to continue to stay on this journey. And I'm super happy to be here today because I've had amazing, great messages from you all, amazing, great support from you all. It's been awesome. So any more questions for LaLa before we dab one out, or do you have any final thoughts for us today, LaLa, or how are we? You know what? It's almost 4:20 somewhere. Hell yeah. Let's hit this baby.
Oh, so good. So good.
Light it up. What are y'all puffing on today? I hope y'all have something out there that you're celebrating with. Maybe even just a nice big glass of ice water. Because remember to hydrate, y'all. It's important to hydrate. Hydrate. I think I'm going to go in on some of this last, what do I want to go in? I think this banner cake, I think I'm going to go in on that.
I can't wait to start doing rosins. Oh my God, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting.
You know what?
Super exciting.
Finished banner cake. Holy shit. Banner cake down.
Must have been good.
We're going in on pineapple sugar cookie. We're finishing that baby off. Oh, I've got hash to press, y'all. I got bubble hash. I got a whole thing of bubble hash here that I am pressing today. So I'll let y'all know how that turns out.
Look how pretty that is. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we'll be pressing that. I got to warm my press up when I get off the live. I'll be packing the bags and pressing this baby out.
I want to come.
Well, maybe I'll let you see it on here, Zoom, after
I'm
we go
excited.
Yeah. So cheers, everybody. Happy 420, 421
420,
now.
everyone. Someone asked me what I'm smoking on, but I I don't know. I grabbed it out of a jar. It has about 4 different kinds in it. I'm not picky these days. Just I can't be.
LaLa grows so much beautiful flowers, she doesn't have to be picky. You know what? I've heard people say that all the time. But people grow terps that they like, and normally they'll grab one and they'll be like, oh, that sounds good. No, that one smells, but they'll smell it. And it's amazing how many people don't actually know what they're smoking, and maybe people don't have the opportunity to know what they're smoking. They don't know what seed they got, it was from some bag, right?
Exactly. And also not
So
everybody gets the
smoking
opportunity
of whatever
to grow.
I want to smoke on.
Huh?
I'm smoking on whatever I want to smoke on.
Right. And I mean, it's like I never buy any. I only grow my own. And so, as a grower too, you don't always have access to the seeds or that are going to give you the outcome that you want, or, some clones that are just played out. And like what I'm learning through the natural farming is like plants are addicted just like people are. And so when you take an addicted plant into your living soil system, it just shows all of its problems. It'll show every single thing that's wrong with it. And then you're like, great. So that's why I'm launching into just, really learning how to select according to what I want. And I'm far from there. And yet I only smoke my own. So I feel like karmically, we have to take responsibility for the medicines we grow and the medicines that we get seeds from. So.
Awesome. So very well said. Drake, you have any final thoughts or questions for Christina today before we close this out? Or,
nothing that's going to not open another can of worms.
Well, we could, if you want to open another can of worms.
We'll save it
for next time. Okay.
Yeah, we'll hit it with the biochar episode, and we'll get some things coming for next Wednesday. Have everyone on the edge of their seats, because I think we can get into some pretty laid out some concise conversation about that. Because I've got a lot of questions, and I want to be doing that myself. I've never yet done it, and maybe couple other things like some charred sunflower stalks, and we'll get into a whole bunch of things. So see, look at that. She's excited.
Exactly, because like let's hit on that for just a second, 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So just a second, an hour.
The reason is because right now is the perfect time to go have bonfires. It's cold outside. Normally people have snow on the ground. So people kind of have some bonfires right now, and you could be having you can have biochar left over from stuff you're burning right now, right out in my backyard, right? Having a nice little bonfire. You got stalks that are all sticking out, like right now, the perfect time to get rid of their sunflowers, to start cleaning all that stuff up, because all the birds have eaten all the sunflowers by now. They've definitely eat those off. So it's definitely something that it is something we can do this time of year. And so I want to kind of keep up to date on the time of year, what we're doing things. And not to mention, don't forget, we have the live planting party, Tara-Leigh live planting party. It's going to be to kick off the new year, everybody. We're going to be planting on New Year's with everybody. Whoever wants to join us, you got to DM me, because we're going to have to do a private Zoom link to everybody that wants on there. And anybody that wants to come plant live with us, it would be really cool to have a big, huge planting party and get as many people as we can on a Zoom live to plant that day to kick off the New Year's. And so stay tuned. We got a lot more coming your way. We'll have another live with LaLa next Wednesday. It'll be the last one of the new year. And then we also have some other cool lives coming up. We'll probably be live on Saturday and Sunday to keep our events up on those days. We have some special guests, still waiting to hear back from them. Dragonfly might be back again on Sunday with us. I think that might be a regular Sunday visit with Dragonfly right now. We're still trying to figure that out because of the holidays. It might not be, but I'm just going to kind of leave that out there for you. Thanks everybody again for tuning in. Again, this is Tara-Leigh Live, wishing you happiness, healthiness, love, and peace. Have a fabulous day.
Cheers, everyone. There might even be something tomorrow night.
Oh, yes. P.S. Is there a P.S. in here?
That was it. That was the P.S.
There is a pajama party happening at D420K's. Rumor it is on Christmas Eve night. Yes, pajama party. Thanks. Have an awesome